Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to play something a little bit different today, so we're checking out Halls of Torment. Looks like this, looks like I've been playing it for about 3 hours now, and it was recommended to me from the stream during last week actually. It's been a really good game, I've been enjoying it a lot. If you enjoy things like Vampire Survivors, I think this is going to be a game right up your alley. Feels like Vampire Survivors, but with a little bit more customization, which I definitely can approve. So we have 3 different characters. You generally start with the swordsman, but 2 different additional characters you unlock really fast. So you have the archer and you also have the exterminator. I've been really getting a liking for the exterminator. I think that playstyle is a lot of fun. So let's just jump into it. I think we can get to the first level without any issue. So at the moment I have 2 levels open, but it looks like there might be 5 levels, or at least intended to be 5 levels eventually. I still haven't completed the game, as you might imagine, but we're gonna go to the haunted caverns. Might at a later video show you Embergrounds as well. Generally Embergrounds is just a bit more difficult than haunted caverns. So I've been kind of focusing on haunted caverns for now, and then we'll go to Embergrounds once I feel confident playing through haunted caverns. So let's go. A round in this game is usually somewhere around maybe half an hour to 20 minutes. So not too long. And instantly we get a level up. So as you can see, we get an option between 4 different boosts, I guess you can call them. So we can become faster, we can have 8% duration. Something I really like here is the tooltips to the left. So you can see that it explains this is a general trait. It means that it applies to everything except including our abilities. So I'm actually going to go for the block strength. It's been proving really good as defensive ability. So shakes before defense. If the block value equals the unreduced damage of an attack, we get a chance to block 50% of the attack, so we half the damage. If we have 4 times more block chance than the value that we are taking damage, we are able to completely negate the damage. Generally, at least in the early stages, not a lot of damage is being dealt to you, so you can kinda boost this up fairly quickly usually. I think I'll continue with duration. You can see that I actually have a few of these skeletons running around. Eventually you will see some mages as well. Right now there's only skeletons. Those comes from my ring right here. So every 15 seconds you summon a skeleton to fight for you. They will perish after a set time, but their life force can be extended. Can handle 5 summons at a time. So in the game you have different items as well that you can equip your character with. You unlock these items as you go through the challenges and the different levels. So I still don't have all of the item slots available to me, but they do really change around the game quite a bit. I have a pair of gloves, for example, that I've been using that gives me higher ability damage while we are not using our main attack. So we're gonna go for damage here. And that's been a lot of fun. It kind of makes the game a lot more passive. So as opposed to Vampire Survivors, this game you don't have to aim. So in the settings you have the option to go for auto attack and auto aim if you want to. I do that on the Steam Deck actually. On the Steam Deck I usually activate those 2 abilities, mainly because I hate playing on controllers. And my aim would just be horrendous if I didn't do that. But on the computer I kind of like the option to actually attack myself. So weapon proficiency 1, we're gonna go for 10% extra burn chance on our main weapon. So that means that you can see that these yellow numbers that comes up above enemies every now and then, that is burning damage that keeps ticking down. It's really good against bosses, of course. That will hopefully help us once we end up with the first boss, which should be around here anytime now actually. Got some new enemies now. These black blobs. I don't know if they have a name. Probably do. I'm not aware of a name. And we also have our first boss now. So let's burn him to the ground. And now you'll see the yellow numbers there. Dealing 175 damage a tick to that boss. That increases our damage quite a bit doing that. So, attack speed or damage. We generally have really good attack speed already with the flamethrower, so I'm gonna go with damage again. That also increases the damage of any abilities that we might get right here. So we have the astronomer's orbs, we have the ring of blades, and we have the phantom needles. Astronomer's orbs are kind of just circling around you, dealing damage. Ring blades shoots out a blade in one direction and then it flies over to the other side of the screen. And then we have phantom needles, which is more or less just a rapid fire needle gun. I'm gonna go for the blades actually. I think those would be the most interesting from these. So you can see here we have our blade. And those will just automatically continue shooting out from our character. I think we're fairly good when it comes to damage. We're dealing decent amount of damage, and now you can also see that we have our mages every now and then. He just disappeared when I mentioned that. But yes, if you see these green blobs being shot out from a skeleton, that is our mage shooting those. We'll go for duration again. That'll keep our minions up a little bit longer, and I'm not sure if it impacts our sawblades. It might keep them around on screen a little bit longer, so maybe slows them down a little bit. That's definitely a possibility. Or maybe, yeah, that's the only idea I have as to how it would impact those. I'm still kind of new to the game, so let me know in the comments if you have any ideas or any tips and tricks for me. Would appreciate that. Looks like we have some critical damage. I'm actually gonna go for movement speed here. The further into the game you get, the more movement speed you kinda need. So we're gonna use the movement speed when we get it. Especially when we get those sort of things where we don't really need any of the other things that they offer. These are so satisfying when you get these like skeleton rows because they just melt in your fire. Okay, and we got our first upgrade for our ring blades here. More crit chance and bigger cone size. Sounds like a good time to me. There's a reason why I'm standing around here, for example, because we actually have the well right here. Which is a way for us to keep items that we find. So you can see that right now, for example. Right here we're gonna go for fire area damage. You can see right now we have a few items right here and it says owned on them. That means that we have already kind of purchased them. So nothing new there. And the way that we can purchase items is by putting it into this well right here. We don't need to do it with these, of course, because we already have the items, so nothing's needed there. But if we find new items, usually you get new items from bosses, and we can take those items to that well, and we can send them out so that we can utilize them in a later run as well. Otherwise, you can use it for this run and then have that specific item only available for this run as well. So we have some base crit chance here, and we have some attack speed. I think I'll go for the crit chance. Generally, crit chance is quite strong in these kind of games. It's like any other ARPG that you're playing, for example. Crit chance usually scales quite well. Especially when you get some crit damage on top of it. And this is no exception. Come here, skeletons. Looks like we have some demons coming along here as well. These are kind of interesting because they don't actually run up to you every time. Sometimes you can see here, for example, they're actually hovering like in a ring around me, which is different to how the skeleton works. Skeletons just run straight at you, of course. Get some critical damage right there. We can get some range. I don't really care about range. I think I'm gonna take the burn chance instead. Just because the burn is actually really good, and the more chance we have, the higher we can stack the burn as well. Which is really good for bosses. Bosses is kind of what progresses you through the game. So here we have the next boss. It's Gonna burn him down. As you can see, the bosses learn more and more things as you continue. So this guy is actually shooting out these rings and summoning monsters as well, or demons. And now we'll get our first item. So you can see that little green thingy up in the top right left corner of this. Means that chainmail we already own. We just don't have it equipped right now. And then we have a helmet with defense and block speed, and we have fire boots. While you move, you produce a trail of fire that damages your enemies. Fire patches have a low chance to burn enemies. I think we're gonna take those, and I think we are going to put them directly into our well over here. So I kind of want to keep those for a future run if I'm able to. You can only save one item per level, so each run you can save one item. You cannot send off more than one usually. And what do we want now? Crit chance, damage, all of these are actually pretty good. I think we're gonna go for crit chance damage. That will improve all of our damage instead of only part of it. It doesn't really help with our burning the crit damage, because I don't think burn can actually crit. Now you can see that we have one of our skeleton mages over here as well. So they are assisting us with some ranged damage, and those green blobs are also passing through things. So they're piercing, meaning that they're dealing a lot better damage than the skeleton does, that just walks up to things and hit it manually. We have some block strength right here. Don't think I want to go for that. I think we probably want to go for the critical damage bonus or the plus damage. We're getting some crit chance now. We have how much at the moment? Crit chance. We're up to 10% right now. So maybe let's get our crit bonus up a little bit higher. See if we can get some more damage there. Something that this game does really well compared to a lot of other sorts of these games is that I feel like when you're playing Vampire Survivors, you kind of hit a wall eventually where you just couldn't progress anymore. In this game, you still have these like low-powered enemies more or less all the time, so you can see that I still have these like weaker skeletons that I more or less one-shot. But they kind of weave in like more dangerous enemies in these waves instead, which makes it feels like yeah, I can push through this and get to the point where I can easily deal damage to, like, deal enough damage to progress, which is really nice. It makes the game a lot more dynamic, and it almost feels like you can use more skill to get further in the game, because it's not just a stat check if you deal enough damage. It's like if you're clever enough, you can kind of go around them. Of course, now this is not really an issue for me because I can easily burn down these shield guys, but at some point you won't be able to do that. So more damage, or more damage on the main weapon only. I'm already dealing most of my damage with the main weapon, so I think I'm gonna continue focusing on that. Getting some mages now from all sides, dealing damage to us, and we lost about half our HP right there. And to get rid of the mages, and let's see. Usually you can find in these boxes, usually you're able to find some healing potions, which helps, or carrots as well. I've seen cake even, I think. Let's go for some damage. Now we get the black blobs, but they will split into multiple pieces. So this is really where my flamethrower kind of shines. Because as these split, they kind of just get burnt down instantly. Looks like we have the second boss here as well. Or third boss? Yes, third boss. Should be able to burn him down fairly quickly, even though he has a shield. General, as long as they're burning, they're taking massive amounts of damage. And there we go, get another upgrade. Phantom Needle, Lightning Strike, or Astronomer's Orb. I think we'll go for Lightning Strike. That will deal damage to automatically. All of the abilities seems to be automatic. You don't really need to do anything with them. And I think we'll go for area cone size here. Make our damage a little bit more widespread. Ooh, what we have here? Right, this is where we need to actually kill monsters that are within these. So you can see in the top right here, I can't really go there, but yeah, we need to kill another 12 people in the rings right here. You can see that there's some purple rings here. And that will give us, not sure what that is. I don't know, some sort of potion, maybe? Not sure what that does. Pickup range, blade size, defense, base health. I think we might go for some defense and some regen here. We're starting to take a lot of damage. I don't see any way to actually use that purple thing that we just picked up. I think I picked it up once before and I didn't figure it out that time either, so gotta do some more research. E and Q does nothing, so not sure what that's about. We can get some range or some cone size. I usually find cone size to be better than range for this weapon. Mainly because it takes some time for the fire to travel, so it's kind of hard if you have too much range to get the damage to where you want it. Pick up all of this. Get another level, and we can now go for attack speed, I guess. Makes sense. Now we get some demon dogs. These can be horrendous to deal with just because they kind of run around in circles around you. You can see they're not running straight for me. They're running like in a loop towards me. So it's kind of hard to predict every time where they will end up. So yeah, it's really nice how they are constantly kind of changing up the meta that you're playing. Love a few of these dogs right here, since we have batched them up quite well. Okay, more burn chance or extra range. At this point, block doesn't really do that much. You kind of have to build up block constantly for it to be effective in the later game. But in the early game, then having some block chance actually helps a lot. So we're gonna continue pushing through here. I hope we can find some food here soon, so we can heal up. We're a bit low on health. Usually these gives you some food. Got a few health points there. We are also regenerating as we go here, so if nothing else, that should keep us alive for a little bit longer. Fairly sure the boss is gonna come along here because we are not having many of these. Yeah, there we have him. So let's burn this skeleton down as well then. Should be able to do that fairly easily. The flamethrower in general is really good for this. Get some movement speed here. I think actually I'm kind of losing my cursor in the midst of all this, so let's make it one size bigger. Make it a little bit easier to follow that up. So there we have him. Kill off everyone there. Pick this up. What do we have here? Base crit chance. That is pretty good. When you hit a burning enemy with physical attacks, that enemy will spark fire damage projectiles, dealing damage based on the burn. So this would be good if we had another ability or a main weapon that deals physical damage. We're dealing fire damage, of course. So we're gonna skip sparkling tips. We're gonna go for wooden ring instead. And we need to get out of here because this is bad. 29 HP now. 29 HP and a dream. We are going to make a hole for us here. Kill off majority of these. Please get us some health. 5 HP there. So you're not getting a lot by destroying these, but you usually get something. 5 HP there as well. Shite. Still about 29, so we're doing better than we did before. Okay, blade size, crit damage, area clone damage I think we'll go for. I like the idea of dealing damage to a larger area. There we go, now we're seeing slower enemies move around again. That should help us to some extent. Let's get you down. We can get some range or some damage or some block. We can get the base health. That will actually bring up our health to 90 as well. So many ranged characters now. It's like a bullet hell. The hell. Leave my health alone. Need it. So, dedication or health. I think we might have to go for this. I think our damage is falling off a little bit here as well. 4 HP in a dream. Took some dumb damage there. Should not have done that. As long as we're not taking ranged damage from any of these, we should be fine. It's usually our biggest enemy. Got some HP there. 24 HP in a dream. Kill these off. Dogs should be good for us. Dogs is actually pretty easy to kill with the flamethrower. As long as you don't get surrounded completely. And there we have it. Game over. 18-minute playtime. Not sure how accurate that is. We've been recording for about 30 minutes now. So, might be that survival time is not completely accurate. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this. If you want to see more of this, we'll take a look at the other maps as well in the next episode. So if we have a look here, I'm just gonna go over here and show you how this works as well. So now you can see that we sent out the Firewalker boots last time we played. That means that we can now buy them, but they cost 8,000 golds. So it's going to take a little bit until we can get that off as well. You can buy the boots right here though. That'll give us the access for those boots from here. So now we have a boots with block strength while moving. As mentioned, block strength is really good in the early games. Makes sense to go into the game with those. Then we don't have to take the block strength directly. Here you can also see the spellcaster gloves that I was using before to only focus on abilities, which is super fun. Hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more, then click that like button. And I'll be back before you know it with another episode. Bye bye everyone.